Today we're going to talk about unification. To wipe the stain of original sin from the modern scientific revolution, the most elite scientists have been in pursuit of unification, which is now the holy grail of modern science. The question is, what is unification? Unification will give us the one truth that reconciles science with religion, the physical with physics, the East and West, and the wisdom of the ages with the newest cutting-edge research. If you're not familiar with the concept, I'm betting you're familiar with two of the most famous names associated with unification: Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. So as Stephen Hawking advised, we've left the search for unification and the one truth to the elite scientists. The question is, how have they fared? Well, Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking have both died without achieving unification. Science has the Hubble telescope and the $13 billion Hadron Collider. They have over 1 century of mathematical equations from some of the most brilliant scientists on the planet. And the last few decades have been the greatest period of scientific advancement in the history of man. In spite of over 1 century of science's best talent, tech, tools, and toys, America has witnessed the evolution of cancer, obesity, depression, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and autism epidemics. 70% of our population is overweight, 40% is obese, and we're #1 in the world in childhood obesity. Oh, it gets better. There's no hope, help, relief, or end in sight, and no miracles on the way. The good news doesn't stop there. While America is accepting the decline of man as our new reality, within the greatest period of scientific advancement in the history of man, there are 5 blue zones that show us what's possible. We're living to 100, thin, healthy, and happy is the norm, and cancer, obesity, depression, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and autism are virtually non-existent. What makes it so embarrassing is that modern science, which is now being sold as the truth, light, and the way, has studied these 5 blue zones for almost 2 decades, and they're totally clueless on how it happens. So when we triangulate between science's intellectual firepower, the USA's decline of man, and the 5 blue zones, we can easily make the case that for over 1 century of experts, advances, research, tech, tools, and toys, we're actually moving further away rather than getting closer to the one truth of life and man. And this brings us full circle. Unification will resolve the holes, gaps, chasms, and mysteries, and the constant change, conflict, and confusion that we now accept as normal. It'll move us from the age of eloquent ignorance and articulate arrogance to the age of the one truth, and it'll allow us to live the standard of life that we all know is possible, and the 5 blue zones are living today. My thoughts on modern science and unification are best summed up by a quote from Matt Dillon in the 1998 movie Something About Mary.
You had your window, Ted. You blew it.
Science had their window for more than a century. Now it's time to put up or shut up, or as General Patton said, lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. It's time to give someone else a shot, and that's exactly what I did. Just like Chris Kyle in the movie American Sniper, I took the long shot and hit the bullseye. And you ask, who am I to speak on this topic? I am a scientist. No, not some traditional 9-to-5 corporate scientist with tenure and benefits, but a scientist out of necessity. Like so many of us, we're trying to find the truth about things like red meat, coffee, trans fats, artificial sweeteners, vitamins, and vaccinations. We're trying to find the best course of treatment for cancer, obesity, depression, diabetes, Alzheimer's, or autism. We're left to sift through the constantly changing, confusing, and conflicting information, and this is when all of us become scientists out of necessity. In the process, I found all the answers for unification have been right in front of us, and modern science is trying to reinvent the wheel.